Hello again, everyone. Edwin Learnard back once again. In this YouTube NFL prediction segment, I'm going to be giving you my picks and analysis for Week 2 of the 2024 NFL season. Now, the first game, I'm going to go with Miami at home over Buffalo. Both these teams, they either one could win that AFC East. Buffalo's perennial contender. Miami being at home in this one, it's a short week. I do like them to get this done. They're number one passing offense in the league. The Bills, again, they're a perennial contender. They'll make this game close, I believe, but I think just the fact it's a short week for them and going on the road. They barely got by Arizona last week, and putting all those points on the board, they scored like a good amount of points. A lot of energy expended. So I'm going to take Miami to get this one done at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take Dallas at home over New Orleans. Dallas was 8-0 at home last season. They had a solid victory last week. I think Dak Prescott is likely happy with his contract situation. The Saints scored like 46 points last week. They're number one right now in scoring offense in the NFL. But, based on the fact they got to go against Dallas this week, it's not going to be the same thing as, caliber team that they played the previous week. It's going to be much harder competition. They're going to be on the road. I don't really see them putting up 46 points or anything really that close to it going against Dallas in this game. They may make it close, but I still like Dallas to get this one done at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to win this one at home over the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, Detroit, they're Super Bowl contenders. The thing is, they're number 13 in pass offense, and you have Tampa Bay number 14 in pass defense. So, they're both Detroit right now is mediocre in terms of the passing offense. I think that's going to improve as the season progresses. Tampa Bay number 14 with the pass defense. Tampa Bay looked impressive against the Commanders last week, but that was going against the Commanders. Now they're going against Detroit, which, Detroit, again, they have the Super Bowl aspirations. They look to me like, I think they're going to be one of the best teams in the NFL. They'll probably go to the NFC title game this season. Tampa Bay is not close to that. So just the fact that Detroit is just much better, I think, right now from a personnel standpoint than they are at home. So I'm going to take the Detroit Lions to get this done. Now, the next game, Green Bay is going to be at home against Indianapolis. Now, I'm actually going to take Green Bay in this one. I know it's not a popular pick. A lot of people want Indy in this one. But Green Bay was not exactly atrocious with the new quarterback they put in last week. Jordan Love, I believe, is going to be out this week. So that's really, I think the main reason why a lot of people, are jumping off the Green Bay bandwagon and they're going with Indy. But Indy, they didn't have a bad game last week, but they are number 32 in run defense. Green Bay actually right now, even though it's just one game, they're number 3 in total offense. And they are going to be at home. I think they could still get this one done at home, even with a quarterback that may not be overly experienced. Still going to take Green Bay to win this one at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Jets to get this done on the road against the Tennessee Titans. Now, last week, there was a lot of talk, after, the Jets lost to San Francisco. You've had a wide divergence of viewpoints, as to whether, the Jets are overhyped, or is it just because they're just getting started and it's taken time for them to play cohesively. The thing about it is they did play the 49ers last week. And the Titans are certainly not the 49ers. The Titans, it's odd. A lot of people think the Jets are going to go in there and just dominate this game. I'm going to actually say, I think the Jets win. But I think it's going to be tighter than a lot of people think. It's just one game. But Tennessee actually right now is number 1 in total defense in the NFL. They're also number 1 in pass defense. Now, I understand they went against a rookie quarterback last week. Now, they're going to go against, Aaron Rodgers, who is, regarded as one of the greatest quarterbacks in NFL history. For sure, he's going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. But the Titans also were 5-4 at home last season. The jury is still out a little bit on the Jets too. I mean, we still got to see if they're going to live up to all this hype. But the Jets, I think, are good enough to win this game against the Titans. But I think it's going to be more competitive than people think. I like the Jets to win by maybe like a touchdown in this one. So I'm going to take the Jets to get this done on the road. Now the next game, I'm going to take San Francisco on the road against Minnesota. It doesn't require extensive analysis because San Francisco is just simply one of the best teams in the NFL, if not the best. I believe at least at some point they had been favored to win the Super Bowl this season. And you have Minnesota, which looked formidable last week, but that was against the G-Men, against my Giants, and the Giants did not really look good. The Giants put up like 6 points last week, and a lot of teams, unfortunately for the Giants, are going to look good against them. But going against San Francisco is going to be a different ball game. The Minnesota showed, they have certain offensive weapons, and they may be able to generate some offense in this game, but going against the 49ers, a completely different ball game. I like the 49ers to get this done on the road. Now, the next game, I want to take Seattle to win on the road over New England. Now, New England last week actually looked impressive against the Bengals. They played it against a team that may, actually be a contender to come out of the AFC this season. But can they get this done 2 weeks in a row? Is it just a fluke or aberration? Well, we're going to find out. I mean, this is the new era for New England, the post-Belichick era, and they got off to a good start last week, but I'm still not really quite convinced that they could keep this up consistently. I mean, New England was 1-8 at home last season, keep in mind, and Seattle is 4-5 on the road last season. Seattle is good enough. I mean, they're not a great team, but I think they're still good enough to get this win. So I'm going to take the Seattle Seahawks to win this one on the road. Now, the next game, well, I'm going to take the Washington Commanders to win at home over the New York Giants. Now, Washington, they did score 20 points last week, and the Giants scored 6. I mean, right there, I know it's only one game. The Giants, I'm sure, that offense is going to get a little bit better than that. I mean, they're better than 6 points per game, but how much better, remains to be seen. There's a lot of questions now surrounding quarterback Daniel Jones of the Giants, and is he going to be the future for this team? And it's going to, it's a lot of questions. He did not look good last week. Hopefully, he'll make some progression and strides as the season progresses. But right now, I don't know who the Giants can actually be, except maybe Carolina. I don't think they're going to be able to go on the road and beat the Washington Commanders. So, I think the Washington Commanders offense is just at least a little bit better than the Giants offense, and that's going to be a big difference. So I'll take Washington to get this done at home. Now, the next game, I'm going to take the LA Chargers to win on the road against the Carolina Panthers. Now, the LA Chargers, number 5 in rushing offense, they got off to a good start in the Harbaugh era last week. They got the victory over Las Vegas Raiders. They looked impressive. I mean, it's really more, but this prediction is really more about the fact that Carolina is just not very good, and they're 2-16 in their last 18 games. And they were right now number 31 in total offense, number 32 in rushing offense. They're just not going to be able to generate the offense or sustain many drives in this game against the Chargers. I think the Chargers right now are they may not be great, but they're still good enough to defeat the Carolina Panthers. So I'm going to take the Chargers to get this one done on the road. Now, the next game, I'm going to take Jacksonville at home against Cleveland. Jacksonville, last week, I mean, they They didn't play bad, but they're right now, after one game, they're number 32 in pass defense. They need to be careful because Cleveland might be able to get their passing game going against them. But as far as Cleveland goes and Deshaun Watson and the quarterback there, and I wonder if this team is a little bit overhyped. Myles Garrett and company, for them to have a chance, they got to get to Trevor Lawrence, and that's going to be the key. Match up that defensive front against the O-line of Jacksonville. I think Jacksonville is going to be good enough to get this game done. They may be able to get the adequate protection, but still, Cleveland's best chance is basically going to be that defensive front against Jacksonville if they have any remote chance of emerging victorious in this one. But I'm still going to take Jacksonville. Looked a little better to me than Cleveland last week, and I know it's a small sampling, but that's all I have to go on. So I'll take the Jaguars to win at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take Baltimore to win at home over Las Vegas Raiders. Baltimore did everything but beat Kansas City last week. They put up a lot of offensive yards against them. They're number one in total offense. Only amounted to 20 points, but they did put up a lot of offensive yards. And I'm looking at, Las Vegas, last week did not really look, overly impressive in that game against the Chargers. And they're number 18 in total offense right now. The offense of Baltimore, and I think with the running attack, Derrick Henry, I would expect him to have a better game this week for Baltimore in contrast to last week. So I'm going to take the Ravens, and maybe the ravenous defense will show up for them, and I pick them to win at home. So the next game, I want to take the Rams to get this one done on the road against Arizona. Now the Rams right now, there was a time in a couple years ago or so where they were really, they looked like, they won the Super Bowl, and right now I don't know, what's actually going on. I think Aaron Donald has retired, but I think even with that being said, they played the Lions very tough last week. They almost won that game. Arizona 2-6 at home last season. They were just 0-6 in their division. I think it'll be 0-7 in the last 7 after this game. So I'm going to take the Rams to pull this one out on the road. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Pittsburgh Steelers on the road to defeat the Denver Broncos. Pittsburgh, it's interesting because they got it done with Justin Fields last week. And in Pittsburgh, I think, you have a good coach, really great coach in Mike Tomlin. I think great coaches, they have the ability to evaluate and assess their players well, and they encourage them, not just to, do what you have to do, play within your ability, don't do too much. And I think, like in this case with Justin Fields, he's not going to be somebody that's going to be able to, throw a lot of, long bombs or anything. If Justin Fields is the quarterback this week, if Russell Wilson is still out, then, I could see Fields, playing, conservative kind of a game. Just don't cough up the ball, don't commit any turnovers, and it will work out for them. And I think they're still good enough to beat Denver, and Pittsburgh. Also, the run blocking offense could be really advantageous for them in this particular game. Denver right now, I think the jury's out on the rookie quarterback. After last week, what's going to happen this week? Are we going to see ascension with the the Denver Broncos and that offense, or is it going to get worse? And I think there's just a lot of question marks with the team, with the offense right now, especially more with the quarterback than anybody. But that's really what I'm saying. But I'll take Pittsburgh to get this one done on the road. Now the next game, the Kansas City Chiefs will be at home against the Cincinnati Bengals. I'm going to take, no shocker here, I'm going to take the Kansas City Chiefs to get this one done at home. Kansas City, they were The funny thing about this is they're like number 30, they're number 32 in total defense right now. I mean, they gave up a lot of yards to Baltimore. It's not going to happen against Cincy, but to think, even though it's after one game, that they're number one. I mean, they're number 32 in total defense, number 31 in run defense. If Cincinnati has a chance, they gotta exploit Kansas City's run defense in this particular game. They do have a tendency to play Kansas City in a very competitive manner, and I expect it to be actually a close game. Since they did not look good, last week, and I think they want to kind of redeem themselves in this particular week against against Kansas City. Kansas City is like that team that's going to be a stumbling block for many in that AFC in order to get to the Super Bowl. Cincinnati, still, they want to show and prove something. So I think it's going to be tight, but I still like, Kansas City at home with Mahomes and the offense and Travis Kelce. They just seem to find, they have this uncanny ability to find ways to win, even if it doesn't always show up in the statistical column. So I'm going to take Kansas City to get this one done at home. Now the next game, I'm going to take the Houston Texans to win at home over the Chicago Bears. Now, Houston, adding Stephon Diggs is obviously going to be a good asset to their team. They're actually number 2 in total offense after 1 week, number 1 in rushing offense. And I want to see, Chicago, if their defense, can hold up, and the rushing defense what is it going to do against Houston's rushing offense? And I think that's going to be a very key matchup in this game. Chicago has some swagger. I know they were undefeated in the preseason, and they beat the Titans. They came back. They were down 17-0. They looked like they had no chance to win. And they came back, rolled off 24 consecutive points on the Titans, but they weren't able to generate a lot of offense against Tennessee. And if they have a game like that, this week, against Houston, it's just not going to pan out. They're not going to be able to duplicate, I don't think, what they did to the Titans last week, because Houston is just a better team, and they got too much offense, and I don't see the Bears going in there and winning this one. So I'll take the Texans to win at home. Now, last but not least, I'm going to take Philadelphia Eagles at home to win against the Atlanta Falcons. Philadelphia, I think Jordan Love got injured in that last game, for Green Bay, that when Philadelphia played him last week, and that's probably part of the reason why Philadelphia won. But they're still, they did score 34 points last week, and Atlanta, their offense did not really look like it was clicking. Maybe it's going to take time for the people to play cohesively. But Kirk Cousins and company, the offense, obviously is going to have to be better this week, or they're going to lose this one as well, which, I think they will. But Atlanta's offense will probably at least be a little bit better this week compared to last week. I don't see how it could be much worse, but it's not going to be enough to go on the road and play, play the Eagles team on, prime time, Monday night. I don't see it happening. So I'm going to take the Eagles to get this one done at home. Anyway, people, that'll conclude this YouTube NFL prediction segment. Until next time, Edwin Learnard saying, stay well.